ENLIGHT is a European alliance consisting of 9 universities testing new activities within education and research and innovation. ENLIGHT is a European alliance gathering 9 universities in Europe coming from Ireland, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France, Sweden, Spain, Slovakia, and Estonia. A reminder that this session is recorded and will be published on the ENLIGHT YouTube channel. This event in particular is about highlighting sustainability issues around the world, sharing experiences and methodologies for creating sustainability projects. One of these projects will also be awarded the ENLIGHT Global Citizen Award, and the winner will be announced on the ENLIGHT website right after the final session on February 7th. During this session, we will first talk to our keynote speaker, Ms. Bessy Thuranira. Welcome. After that, we will hear from 4 different student organizations. Today it's going to be Canada, Ireland, Belgium, and Mexico, the countries. And these are going to present on projects promoting sustainability in their communities and campuses. After that, we will start the panel discussion between participants and audience. Please feel free to post questions in the chat or write something nice if you like. And let's come to what is the ENLIGHT Student Network exactly. From each of the ENLIGHT universities, students and staff come together to develop truly international education. Students come together with 9 universities in the ENLIGHT Student Network with the aim of not only representing students, but also creating a truly international community. If you have not heard of us yet, make sure to follow us on Instagram. Maxime can share the link and keep up with our events. With that said, let's get right to this event. Let's get started. Ms. Bessy Thuranira was a student and a scholar at the Ban Ki-moon Center in the leadership program. She worked on a project implementing garden sacks in deep sea slum Nairobi. Currently, she volunteers as a deputy project lead for the local Pathways Scholarship Program, which is empowering young people, especially students, to create sustainable initiatives and projects, especially in their own cities. Thank you, Bessy. Can you introduce yourself and present?
Thank you very much, Arina. I hope you can hear me. So I will just share my screen. Yeah. So thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Bessy Thuranira, and I am from Kenya. So I'm currently actually in Nairobi, Kenya. Although I just finished my studies in Germany, but yeah, I'm in Nairobi right now. And I'm here courtesy of the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens, which is a center committed to also develop youth to take different initiatives. I'll share the link. You can always check the programs they have. And today I'm just about to talk to you about the global citizenship and sustainable development. So acting locally, but thinking globally. So in the next less than 10 minutes, I will be talking about this. So yeah, we are all aware about the different global issues that we are facing, from environmental issues to war, to social issues, racism, to poverty and all. And we are also aware that governments in themselves are not able to offer the solutions. And that's why we are taking the different local actions that we are. For example, your projects that you're presenting today in this network are local solutions that you're taking. And these are very important because they have big impact to address talking about sustainability, they have a big impact. And these projects are in the form of advocacy, education, you know, whether it's planting trees, which at your local area, or even individual action. For example, when you decide you're going to take your bike instead of, you know, driving somewhere, these individual behaviors also contribute positively to the impact on sustainable development. And on this point, I will share a challenge. One center I worked for developed a gamified challenge, which is a 3 weeks challenge where you can put your life through as my sustainable living, that is going through a sustainable living lifestyle for 3 weeks, just to see what things you can change, and you're given different ideas and things you can do to change your life towards sustainability. I'll share all these links in the end. And so what we are saying is that local action, which is these projects that you're doing, are very important, and they are really contributing highly to the sustainability agenda, and also they are examples that can be replicated in other parts. But today we are talking about thinking globally. So we have our local solutions, but how can we also leverage global citizenship to go beyond or to have more impact with these local actions that we are taking? So thinking globally is not, it's just about the mindset change, how you view your world, how you see your responsibility as a member of the planet. So it's not about just you being a member of your local community, but also you're a member of the globe. So your action can actually be used to impact more than your small area, your campus or your community. So it's about you thinking about how your actions can benefit the global community. So when we talk about global citizenship, the questions that come to mind is, first of all, how do you see the world? And then how do you see yourself as a member of the world? How does the world influence you? And also, how can you influence the world? Have you ever thought that your small actions or the things you do are possible to influence the world? Have you thought about it this way? So there are a number of things we as university students can do to just be part of this global citizenship movement, and specifically in terms of building a sustainable future. So for example, we can educate ourselves about the global issues, but not just knowing there's climate change and there's poverty and all, but it's about going beyond and learning how are these issues interconnected with your local community. So do you think these issues actually affect you? Even the things that you think don't happen in your community, how are they interconnected to your community? And so learning more about educating yourselves about these issues. And I like that you are participating in dialogues such as this one, because this is one way of learning, you know, it goes beyond the classroom. So there's a lot you can teach yourselves on how you can be a member of the community by understanding what other people go through, how are these issues interconnected. And second, you can volunteer and contribute to global issues that are beyond your local community. So this is just to encourage you that as you take the local actions and your local projects, how can you go beyond? Do you contribute to other, I don't know, like global campaigns or charities or even writing an article, for example. So, and also you can, of course, participate in civic activities like, again, the strike for climate, or even voting for leaders who are pro-sustainability. All this is you doing your part as a member of the global community, but also related to the projects that you're presenting today. Have you thought about how you can foster collaboration in your projects? So for example, someone is talking about having a summer school on sustainability in their campus. We have technology these days. I mean, I'm right now talking from Nairobi. Have you thought about maybe instead of just having students from your school, about inviting people from other parts of the world to join your summer school? Or same as someone who was talking about business beyond tomorrow. Have you thought about what impacts you can have with such a concept on businesses that are out of your local community? So this is just a call for you to think about how can you share knowledge, how can you impact the world beyond your local community or your school, your campus, and also just yourself being a model of the global citizenship is also a way of being and spreading the global citizenship. So in summary, what I would say is that global citizenship just means recognizing how interconnected the world is and taking your actions, not just for your local community, but also thinking about how your actions can benefit a wider community, because you are part of this wider community beyond your local community. And as students, the beauty with us is that we have the knowledge, the skills, the passion. We have, we are it in the world right now. We are the ones, we hold so much in ourselves to make a real difference across the world. So let's not limit ourselves to just implementing small solutions, but let's also take our time as students to just engage and become responsible and engaged global citizens who are committed, to creating a more just and sustainable world. And that's it from me. Over here, I have some resources. Okay, it's not moving to the next. So over on this page, I just have some programs, some of which I have participated personally. In fact, most of them are what I have worked on personally, and some centers that you can check, and also some courses from my UN Center for Sustainable Development, where I was working last year. And yeah, I'll have these shared with you if you're interested. And that's it from me. Thank you. And from here in Kenya, we say asante in Swahili. That's my email if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Bessy. So do we already have any questions in the chat? If we don't have them yet, maybe ask, I would like to know where your inspiration came from. Is there anything, like, you got many sources, I guess, but maybe you got something more specific from your side?
Sorry, say that again.
Where did the inspiration come from?
Oh, okay. So I first, my background is in cities and urban planning, and also with a lot of interest on the sustainability matters. So, and also when I joined the program at the Ban Ki-moon Center for for Global Citizens, I drew a lot of inspiration from there in knowing that I can go beyond just the local solutions that I was implementing, and knowing that there is more to offer across the world. So it's, from both my education and also the different kind of programs that I've taken part that have inspired me to work more towards sustainability. Yeah.
And a question came from Mr. Schalk. What were some obstacles you encountered?
Well, this cannot be answered specifically, but I mean, the world is not a kind place. There will always be challenges, many different ones from, you know, the different global issues we have talked about, from social issues, inequality and racism and different things. But it's just about rising above the challenges and just, you know, advancing the greater good. Yeah. And I see a comment from Michelle about the list of recommended resources. I'll share this with you. I'll paste the links in the chat, but also I'll find a way of, I'll speak to Jonathan and see how I can share this with you.
Great. In some way, Bessy, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is a framework that's common to us all. So it would be very interesting to see the list of resources that you have there on that.
Yes, so I will share this. They are mainly programs that I work on right now. For example, I volunteer for a program on sustainable cities. So where I work with students implementing their projects in their cities. And some of the others are just courses that are from a center I worked before, and I will share all this. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I guess we got all the questions for now, and we can go to our next organization, which is the Business Beyond Tomorrow. And in the end, if there are any questions for Bessy, just let me know at the very end, so maybe we can share them still. And yeah, John Molson, Sustainable Enterprise Committee from the Concordia University in Canada. Can you present yourself, maybe?
Yes. Hi, so I'm Christian and I'm here with Zainab.
Hi, nice to meet you, everyone.
Sorry, I just crashed. I'll share my screen. I'll see if I can share.
No rush, we're waiting for your screen. Is anybody able to see the screen? Yeah.
Not yet, no.
So is he still there? I can't see him. Oh, he's still trying now.
Working.
Now we
Yeah.
got it.
Can you guys see it?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Hello, hi. Sorry for the technical difficulties. My computer just quitting Zoom. You guys hear me? Just making sure that I'm back. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, cool. Everything's working. So Zainab, feel free to start.
So good morning or good evening, good night, wherever you guys may be. Reimagine today and reinvent tomorrow. That's something that we think we'll be able to do by attending the conference called Business Beyond Tomorrow, otherwise known as BBT. I'm Zainab and I'm here with my colleague Christian, and we are part of the John Molson Sustainable Enterprise Committee in Concordia University in Montreal, Quebec. So let's begin by talking a little bit about what BBT is. Essentially, it's actually one of Montreal's longest running sustainability conferences that we've been holding at John Molson Sustainable Enterprise Club. It's a forward-thinking event that connects students, faculty, and people from the industry in exploring all three pillars of sustainability, be it environmental, social, or economics. This means that we'll be able actually to cover a wide range of topics such as climate change, EDI, sustainable finance, sustainable investments, and be able to link the side of business to sustainability. One of the unique things about BBT is that we will be able to actually use a hybrid approach of workshops and panel discussions for attendees to be able to learn and relate the different aspects of sustainability to their business courses, and therefore we'll be able to draw more interest from business students. We also are going to have a networking session at the end of the event where attendees can connect with like-minded people from the industry. We want to address two main challenges with this project. First of all, is the lack of awareness around sustainability and interest for many business students. And the second is changing people's preconception of sustainability from a heavily focused environmental pillar. To address these challenges, Christian will take it on and talk about the solutions.
Thank you, Zainab. So for the solutions, we addressed the first challenge by having the conference. So the conference itself is just creating a space for people to talk to, learn about, and meet others who share the same goals of learning about sustainability. We address the second challenge by having a topic for each of the pillars. This gives us the opportunity to understand the importance of each of them. We want to show that sustainability extends beyond just the environment and the marketing campaigns that we're also used to seeing in the media. It's also about this economic and social impact that our actions have. So moving on to the benefits, for the campus community, we are providing valuable insights by providing experts from different fields to discuss how intertwined sustainability is with business and our daily lives. Also, the networking portion at the end of the event will create like an informal opportunity for attendees to connect and potentially find a job. In addition, for the external community, we increase the interest in sustainability. So the more people learn about it, the more they're going to join the workforce with the intention of positively impacting the business and their local communities. Also, by creating a space for people to learn about sustainability, we hope to inspire more sustainable practices and solutions, which ultimately benefits everyone. In conclusion, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, for taking the time to hear about the Business Beyond Tomorrow conference and about the John Molson Sustainable Enterprise Committee. Please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have any questions yet?
Hi, I just might ask a question there. How do you pick the businesses? I presume they're businesses that are external to the university. How do you pick the businesses that are involved in the conference, and what is your experience in terms of dealing with those businesses? And maybe the second question, after the conference, is there any action after the conference to kind of follow through with the businesses or to share experiences or get feedback afterwards? Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, in fact, I'm actually the person sort of responsible in that to, help get us sponsors and businesses interest. And the process mainly, since this is a sustainability focused conference. We obviously were looking at their sustainable trackers, their ESG reports, just to make sure that the company, first of all, aligns with the values that we want to put forward in BBT. So we were looking at more of that side for each company. And if it aligned with what we were looking for, then we made the first step to approach them and see if they'd be willing to be present as speakers, possibly sponsor the event, or just join us for the networking session. So that was the process of trying to get companies interested. As for after, post the conference, most likely we're going to keep them in our tracker, these companies, because if they were interested once for the event, they tend to come back year and year again if they end up enjoying it. So most likely we're going to keep them in a tracker and be able to bring it on to the rest of the executive board of the club.
Great, thank you.
Hi, sorry, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So I think it's a really cool project. I was just wondering if someone were to organize a similar event, what would be kind of the main messages that you give them regarding successes, what has worked really well for you, and where would you say, you know, an organizer would have to be careful with, or just pay a bit more attention to?
I would say the main selling factor and what makes BBT so successful is that there is a niche of business students that are very much interested in sustainability, because there's this misconception as a business student, I see it, that, you know, accounting, finance, all of that, they have no interest in things like sustainability or sustainable practices. But there's actually a relatively big majority of us that are really interested in these things, and to have the opportunity of an event that tells you, like, you can mix finance and sustainability, sustainable finance, green real estate, green investments. These are things that are super, super interesting and actually hyper important right now as we see the changes in the market and how everyone is trying to go towards more sustainable practices. So I think to be able to link those two is really cool for a lot of students, because I feel like they didn't think that was even an option before.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not a business student myself, but we have a good few like on our volunteer groups, and they always have like way different approaches to everyone else. So yeah, they're great.
Great, thank you. Any more questions? So maybe we can go to the next presenters.
Sorry, I just had one question. I'm just
Okay.
wondering, thank you for your presentation. I'm just wondering, how did you engage? What tactics did you use to engage the wider business student community with the event?
I would say, first of all, we have an amazing marketing team. So that's definitely number one. Second of all, I would say just the fact that, first of all, we're going to bring the opportunity for them to speak to professionals within the industry. And I feel like students are always extremely interested in that, because they're going to have insight on what it's actually like to work in sustainability, what it's actually like to mix your business background in a firm that, you know, puts sustainability forward. So I feel like students are super interested in knowing that, how the professionals got to that point, what it took, what's the day-to-day like. So I think that's one of the things that really always gets students interested in joining BBT and coming every year. And more than anything, I would also say the fact that not only are you surrounded by professionals who think alike, but students. So, you know, you're in a niche that you enjoy.
Is it predominantly business students, or is it open to all students?
It's open to all students, but since we're, because Concordia University has a business school and then just, you know, the university as a whole. So it is open for all students, but of course, a lot of business students are interested because they're like, wow, we're mixing sustainability and business. That's great.
Okay, if you have any question, you can maybe ask them in the end, if there are still any questions left or coming up later. Okay, so the next project I'm presenting is Glassary Initiative. The Glassary Initiative, am I spelling it? Am I pronouncing it well? Glassary Initiative, from
Yeah,
the students
you're doing-
from the
you're doing
University of
great.
Galway, Ireland. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's myself presenting and Lorraine. I don't know where Lorraine is, but I'm sure she'll appear very soon. Yes, so the Glassary Initiative is something that was started by a student. That student has now graduated, and my position in the Students' Union is environmental officer. So I was elected, and I'm a volunteer, and I'm also my final year of environmental science. And we're basically continuing the Glassary every year, and I'm just going to try and share the video of that just so you get a good idea of what's going on. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I will.
all good.
Amazing. I'll try and share an audio. I'll share like a little bit, and if you can hear it, that would be great if you could just let me know.
And no, there's no audio.
Okay. I'll try again. One second. Okay. I'll try again. Could you let me know if I have audio?
Yes, excellent.
Okay, great. So please enjoy. Hi everyone, my name is Melina and I'm the Environmental Officer with the Students' Union here at the University of Galway. I'm here today to tell you about an awesome project that we've been running for the past few years, and I think it would be great to be seen implemented across other campuses. It's all about sustainability, giving back to the community, sharing what we have and donate to charity. It's a really great project. It's called the Glassary, and Lorraine is here to tell you more about it.
Thanks, Melina. So, the Glassary Initiative is run by students for students. Essentially, when you move out of your student accommodation, you leave behind you all these wonderful equipment, tools, kitchen supplies, books, bric and brac, all sorts of things that you need in your student accommodation. So, instead of that ending up in landfill and going in the bin, we have a program with Glassary where students can donate that on to their fellow students or across the community to different charities. We've been doing this for a number of years, and what's great is we're avoiding landfill, making things affordable and sustainable for future students and the community. We're very proud of the Glassary Initiative here at University of Galway, and we can't wait to share with you all the details of how it works so that maybe your campus can look at how student accommodation can be really sustainable year in and year out.
This is a great idea and I can't wait to donate to Glassary.
This is a great idea. I'm very happy to get some stuff from Glassary.
Okay, that was our video. I'm just gonna stop sharing. Okay, so as you saw in the video, there's always a lot of things left when students move out of their accommodation. These can be things like, this can be food, it can be mattresses, sheets, blankets, pillows, anything like that. And these are usually things that have been used once, maybe twice. And we don't want to see them go to waste. You know, they're good things to have, and new incoming students would need them as well. So the Glassary aims at reducing the waste, and there's certain charities that we work with that either, for example, housing charities, and they can use mattresses, or they can be upcycled as well. So we really try and reduce the waste to zero from students leaving and coming back. And Lorraine actually ran this the last time it was on. I don't know where she is now, but yeah, she can tell you exactly what happens and how it happens. So yeah, please go ahead, Lorraine.
Thanks, Melina. Okay, so let's use our reactions on your Zoom. If you can click reactions, how many of you actually live in student accommodation or know that your campus provides student accommodation? So in your reactions, if you can click a little thumbs up, or a hands up, thanks, Ruth. Thumbs up, hands up, you know that your campus provides accommodation to students, or, there's a structure there where students are rotating semester by semester in and out of accommodation. And instead of things, ending up in landfill, we can reuse them. One of the big things that shocked me was how much supplies were kind of semi-used. So for example, you might purchase as a student a large box of laundry detergent, but you might use a few scoops, and next thing you have to travel back to your home country where you were traveling back to Europe or America, and you're not going to bring a box of laundry detergent. When we contacted local organizations, community groups, they said, absolutely, the organization that we work with would love to be able to take in those materials and use them for different communities. And likewise, we have incoming then students in the next semester who, if they had a little shop, could avail of all of these materials. So in the Irish context, we have things called drying hacks for clothes for drying. We have hot water bottles. We have all these little things that are kind of bespoke to the Irish context, right? Wellingtons, welly boots. And we find that instead of purchasing these, then incoming students can avail of them. So it required a little bit of coordination with the accommodation centres, a little bit of coordination with local charities, and lots of communication. And we were able to make sure that lots of supplies were redirected. So it's very simple, but actually very effective. So we'd love to take any questions that people have, or what do you feel about this? Again, use your reactions, good idea. Give us some feedback on what you think about our project. And yeah, we've been running it for a few years now. I see some love hearts, thank you, and some celebrations and some applause. Thank you very much. Milena, I think as a student, you don't mind getting half a box, for example, of a material. It means that it can be put to good use and avoid landfill, right?
Exactly, yeah. And we actually have a few initiatives like that, and Glassary is just one example because it's really important. We do have all these hot water belts. It does get cold here. We do get a lot of storms, a lot of winter storms, and there's only so many things we can do about it. So yeah, it's a fantastic project. I live in student accommodation. I'm in my student accommodation right now, so if the internet cuts out, I'm sorry. But it's it's just the way it is. These students, they leave home for the first time, many of them, and they live in their own household. They have to run their own household. So we thought it was just a great project to support them also, and to teach them from the very beginning about reusing and reducing their own waste.
One thing that really impressed us was when we contacted a local community group. They were running a project with youth around baking. So they actually used a lot of the cooking supplies that students left behind and did a baking project with young people in the community. So local charities were actually really thrilled to get so many of those supplies. Again, let's use our reactions. Give me a thumbs up or a little wave if you know of some maybe local charities in your community that, if there were things like, I don't know, extra hair dryers, hair curling irons, these are the kind of things that electrical items, which are not necessarily easily recyclable, but actually are really, used by other individuals, community groups, and can have a new home. And thanks for a little thumbs up in terms of maybe of communities local to your university where you could find ways to reuse and reduce. And maybe
if there's any questions, do let us know. Anything, if you're wondering how it started, how it's going, do let us know. Misha, I think
she's
There's
trying to
muted.
talk.
Yeah. Sorry. I wonder, Milena and Lorraine, it's a very interesting name. Could you tell us a little bit about where the name of the initiative came from, Glassary? And the second question I have is, on the ground, how do the new students come in, gain these items? If you could just explain a little bit around the process around that, that you collect all these items and how do they then transfer, just so people around the group, if they were interested in replicating it, or, from a procedure level, how it kind of works. Thanks,
okay.
Milena.
Great. Milena, you take the first part and I take the second part. So you go first.
Okay. So basically Glassary, there's, I think it's like a wordplay from glossary. And that's kind of, we're trying to use words that people know, that people associate, and then do a little trick with them. Because like yourself, Arena, when you hear it for the first time, it's like, you go, oh, did I say that right? But that means people are thinking about it. So it has to have a meaning with the community, and that way we kind of link that. So yeah.
So it's a little bit Irish, isn't it, Melina?
Yeah, I'm
little bit
German,
Irish.
so my Irish. Please don't. I've been
So,
trying for 4 years. It's not my
Michelle, what does
language.
glass mean in Irish?
What does gloss mean? Could anyone take a guess?
Go for it.
Very
Take a guess. That's a really good one.
green.
Take a guess. It means green. And of course, Glassary is a type of, I suppose it's like a dictionary, right? It's like a whole kind of index of items, right? It's a whole encyclopedia, if you like. And that's where we came up with this idea of glass, a green dictionary, a green provision of everything. And literally, if you can remember from Elena's video, that first shot, there's so many things donated from students who are like, oh, I only used, you know, one little portion of this. For example, we have students who've used maybe a book rack or again, yeah, books, for example, and they'll say, let's donate them on. So the second part of your question, Michelle, was the practicalities. And this is really where the university has to really make a commitment to storage. We do have a building on campus where we have a commitment to community and we have a storage facility. So during summer months, for example, we can storage materials so that the incoming students can facilitate them. And then during semester 1 and 2, we have the Christmas break, we can store. So short term and longer, which is the 3-month summer storage, has to be made available. So again, you know, again, in this group, have a little think, does your campus want to make maybe some storage room available? Maybe there's a room somewhere that's not being used. And look, it's a great way to say, oh, can we potentially use this as a way to facilitate the transition of perfectly good material, again, out of landfill and straight back into the hands of students who need it.
Great, thanks, Lorraine.
We have a question from Mrs. Kozaritz. Are there any plans to expand the Glossary project to the broader community, respectively to students vacating off-campus accommodation?
Yeah, so we're gonna do it again this, I think exams end in May, so that's when it's hopefully gonna go ahead, and that's the goal. So in Galway you kind of have, I'd say, 3 different kinds of student accommodation, or 4. So you have the on-campus student accommodation, you've got off-campus student accommodation, so private student accommodation, you've got houses, and you've got people who either live at home or with families. So we're trying to focus, you know, on the big student accommodations, but ultimately the plan would be to, first of all, you know, this is one of the reasons why we're here, to kind of share the idea. And secondly, to extend it to all student accommodation. It, like, you know, it's just easiest to kind of center it there, but like any student can come in and drop off what they want. So.
Okay, when we asked people here if they had student accommodation, there was a lot of hands that went up. So I think we should lay down the challenge, Melina, at all campuses. Let's take a picture. You guys think about it for this next semester as it closes and students are leaving their accommodation. How many of you are thinking, oh, maybe I could approach the university for some storage and we could do a 1-day drop-off point where people could drop off perfectly good materials that could be, you know, offered to incoming students in September. What do people think? Give me your reactions. Again, a thumbs up, an applause. Have we planted a seed? Are you thinking maybe I could approach my university for a closet somewhere? We're only asking for a closet, right, guys? And then maybe you could have a 1-day drop off for all the students who are moving out this coming semester. And yeah, when the new semesters come, imagine saying to them, oh, we've got all this stuff for you. Here you go. We got a few, Melina.
Yeah. Another thing that I'd be very interested in looking, you know, at other universities, other countries is, I mean, a good few people here are students, and I'd just love to know what's your experience when you go into student accommodation. What are the things you usually have? Lorraine already mentioned cooking supplies. Do you need blankets? Is there mattresses? And then what I think is very good is do a bit of research, see even if the mattress, you know, if it can't be used and there's no long-term storage, how do you get rid in a sustainable way of what is left over? So, you know, really to think of the process to an end, but it really is a great way for students, and especially, you know, baking, covers, pillows, that kind of stuff, someone will always take it.
Not going to say how many cocktail glasses we got. And
that's a secret.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. So I guess we had all the questions for this part.
Yes.
Time is rushing now. So maybe we get to the next project, and that's Humasol, also pronounced well, hopefully. Humasol from the students of the University of Gent, Belgium. Please present yourself. Introduce it.
Yes, thank you very much. I think Michiel will share the presentation and then we can get started.
I will try to share my screen. Okay, do you see the screen like this?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Lars and I am here with Michiel from Belgium, from Humasol in Gent. And we would like to introduce you to our International Solidarity Organization. So we perform every year projects around sustainable energy. Our central mission statement is renewable technology for all. So we want to make this technology available for everyone. And we do that by performing around 10 projects each year that has some kind of sustainable energy involved in it, like solar energy or water supply or agricultural optimization, something like that. And these projects are always in close collaboration with the partners on location. This is to make sure that the project has a long-term impact. For example, we make together with the partner a maintenance plan, a repair plan, and the idea is really to plant a seed, and hopefully the project or the principles of the project can be reproduced in other locations in the surroundings. So these projects are carried out by a group of 4 students most of the time, and they are professionally guided by all of our volunteers in Humasol. All right, Michiel, you can go to the next slide. Some key figures. We are active since 2008, and we have executed over 80 projects, which have been over 200 students, which are mostly engineering students. And our board this year, our organization this year has around 70 volunteers. And on the right, you can see some of the countries that we already have done and performed projects. And I will now give the word to Michiel.
So, however, as an organization, we always want to keep questioning and reinventing ourselves. And that's why we are currently working on a new vision under the working title, "I'm Not My Ancestors." This controversial statement, I'm well aware of it, often echoed at Black Lives Matter manifestations in recent years as a sign that the current generations of activists will not fold and bend like its ancestors, but rise up against structural inequalities and racism. This statement, of course, ignores the part that did resist and often had to pay for it with their own safety or life, or the part that was just trying to survive and for which protesting was not an option. As an organization, however, we also want to distance ourselves from the colonial system, which was partly responsible for the growth and technological progress in Europe, but which systematically exploited the colonized areas in order to do so. So to achieve this, we will focus on 3 pillars. So first of all, the diversification of our project portfolio. Secondly, the active decolonization of our organization. And finally, we will set up new collaborative modalities. So as Humasol is an organization by students and for students, this would never be possible without our amazing group of volunteers. So I'd like to end this presentation by thanking all of them and of course all of you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Any questions yet?
Could I just ask a little bit about Humasol itself?
Please.
Is it a kind of a student society that is part of the university, or what exactly is it? I suppose just to understand that, and the students that involve themselves in this organization, is it part of their kind of curriculum or college work, or do they get recognition in that sense for it? And then also, is it all international partners in terms of where the renewable technologies, etc.? Is it partners internationally you're working with, or are there any in the local region?
Maybe I'll do the first one, you do the second one here.
Yeah.
Okay. So our student organization mostly consists of students, but it's actually not part of the university. We're actually just a non-profit organization that makes sure that our organization keeps running. But since we are students and there are mostly students in our organization, it changes every few years. So the whole organization changes every few years. So that's also not very easy to keep it running, but it's yeah, we're just a non-profit actually.
Mm-hmm. But students can like do this as part of their curriculum as well, and they can also get like grants from university if they do this as some kind of project course. So that was like the first part. And then the part about our international partners. So indeed, so we're mainly active in Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia. And so we always work with partners in our partner countries over there. So there we work together either with local communities or with partners we know from previous collaborations.
But also sometimes, or most of the time, it's also through a partner in Belgium that has close collaboration with a partner on location, because it's easier to communicate the first part with people in Belgium, do networking events in Belgium, and then that way reach out to the partner on location, and then we can start a communication between those two.
Great. And do students generally travel to the location, or is it more kind of a remote kind of partnership, or how does that work?
So the project is executed by the students on location. It actually goes like this, where you have about 9 months of preparation work, where you get to know like what's a project about, what do we have to do, how do we have to do it, and then in the summer months, like July and August, the students go on location and really execute the project.
Okay. Great, brilliant, well done.
Thank you.
We have a question from Mr. Hanaik. What was the biggest challenge of the project?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you can have first.
If you know one, go for it. But there's a lot.
So maybe if you could like tell us about the challenge.
Yeah, so I think one of the main challenges, oh, sorry, my internet connection is not that stable, I see.
Yeah, you're back.
So one of the main challenges is the okay, perfect. So one of the main challenges is the sustainability on the long term, because we do work with sustainable technologies, but yeah, if there is no maintenance of the installations, then they break down after a few months, and then your project is not sustainable after all. So really the follow-up of our projects, and also training people from our partner on location so that they can provide this maintenance, or for example, also finance the maintenance. I think that's really important, and also one of the challenges we have. And then yeah, another challenge is also that although we already have or we focus quite a lot on equal partnership, I think this can always improve. And so this is also why we started this decolonization trajectory within our organization.
Also, maybe another one is project diversification, because we have done a lot of solar panel projects in the past, but we see nowadays that it's on a lot of places, it's really not necessary that Belgian students are required to do those solar panel installations. There are really a lot of countries and places that the people can do them themselves. So we are really looking like, okay, but where can we still help and where can we still provide value, and not keep with those solar panels all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe an upcoming question from Mrs. Khalifi. Whether is the project mainly geared towards engineering students or more generally to all students of different fields?
In the past, it was mainly engineering students. Like I said, we did mostly solar panels or water supply, but it's a bit the same point as I said. We are trying to look into other projects, like business related more. And then of course, it doesn't need to be an engineering student that performs this project, but it can also be a business student or a psychology student or whatever. So yeah, great question.
So thank you kindly for your answers. I believe then we can proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Quick question. You said your focus is on Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia, right? But on the map, I didn't see many countries of Southeast Asia. Maybe you could tell me in which countries you've already had students working on projects. Is there any? Is there just one, maybe?
Mm-hmm. So in Southeast Asia, we were mostly active in Cambodia, but yeah, due to the restrictions regarding space, I had to quit the map.
Yeah, but it's definitely true that we do most of our projects in Africa. But we are looking this year at some new partners and new locations, and South America is there as well. And I think there might be one in Southeast Asia. I forgot the country, but it's not finished yet. So maybe it's for next year.
Yeah, great. That would be nice if that spreads a little bit more into that area.
Yeah, of course.
Important work to do.
Yeah. So it's all like it's nice to have new partners, but it's also a big advantage if you can like continue your cooperation with existing partners, because then you can trust them within your partnership. So we try to build a combination of both.
That's nice. Thank you very much, then. So maybe now we can proceed, or are there any questions left? Okay, great. So then, next project is called Adopt a Tree and Planet. It's from the students from Iberoamericana University of Mexico City. Can they maybe introduce themselves? They're here, actually.
It seems that we may have a fallout of presentations from Mexico today, unfortunately. We will follow up on that and see if we can make space for them somewhere else. Otherwise, if you're interested in seeing the presentation, there is a video on the ENLIGHT website as well. I will give you the link in the chat, but we will follow up and see. So I think, Karina, I guess we can open the floor for a general discussion from this point. We have until about 12 minutes more on the original timing for this event.
Feel free to share comments or more questions.
I mean, I suppose a bit of both. First of all, I think it's really cool how like all the projects focus on different aspects of sustainability. And it was really cool to see, you know, all this action done by students. So I'm completely delighted about that. And who knows, maybe we can bring a bit of that back to Galway, and you guys can take ours back to you and do something similar. But my main question, I think, would be regarding student engagement. What has been the best way for you to engage with students on your projects? What platforms do you use? Yeah, I suppose that's the main question. How do you, do you do prizes or at all, anything like that? So yeah, that'd be great to know just from everyone, I suppose.
Maybe I will start. What we do in Humasol is a lot of team buildings actually. I have found that this really helps to make the group closer and to bring everyone together and just have a fun time. Also, besides the work that has to be done, also really take the time to have fun and to get to know each other.
What kind of team building? You don't have to, like, if you're going for a beer afterwards, that's okay. I mean, do you ever go to like escape rooms or play pool, anything like that?
Yeah, we went to a pool somewhere, and we did bowling actually. The plan is to do some karaoke as well this semester, and maybe laser shooting. But yeah,
very
all
cool.
really fun.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
I would say one of the main ways we are able to do some student engagement at JSEC is we do this thing called tabling. I think a lot of universities do that too, where essentially we literally just have a stand for our club and we tell people that this is what we do. We tell them about our events, our conferences, what you can get out of joining the club, coming to the events, the conferences, etc. We also do a few team bondings because a strong team is obviously more attractive to students because they're like, I want to be part of that, So yeah, I would say that's like the main thing that we focus on.
Right. And you did say you had a strong marketing team. If you say that, how much do you engage with students on social media, and what platforms are the most successful for you?
I would say our marketing team is pretty active on social media, and we try to be on as many as possible. So we're pretty active on Facebook, Instagram. We try to be active on TikTok because I know a lot of students are actually on that, So we try to like post TikToks here and there that would be relatable, but also kind of interesting to what we're doing at JSEC. So we try to be active on, I want to say, almost all social medias. We're not that active on Twitter, so it would be really like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yeah, for us, it's actually very similar. Instagram is huge, Twitter as well. And what I love to do is we basically have one long corridor in college, in the concourse, that's what we call it, and the cafeteria is that way and library is right there as well. So what I found anyway helpful is kind of those main pathways of students to be there and kind of be kind of in the focus, so that they have to look at you when they walk by, and like a lot of students are actually so interested then in conversation. So
yeah,
that has worked very well for us.
I can maybe add something else as well to get students on board in our organization. We do a lot of presentations in courses. So we ask the professors, like, can we get 5 minutes of your course, of your lesson, to give a presentation of our organization? And then really in the first years of the university, you can get to a lot of students your information, your organization, and by then they know you and they're really interested. So that has really worked well for us as well.
great. Yeah.
And if I could add, we also have started doing that as well, but also there are other student associations like within the business side of school. So we try to maintain like a good relationship and like support each other. So, we post their stuff on our social media and they do the same. So, we're trying to get as much as of awareness of all the students at the business side and to the other associations that are also similar to our goals, because there are a lot of other sustainability initiatives at Concordia. I know one of them applied to the ENLIGHT dialogue. I think they're on the third day. It's the CP3, which is I'm not too familiar, but yeah. So we also like help them post their initiatives while they help us.
Yeah, a good partnership here in the University of Galway. We have a lot of societies. I think we have over, now correct me on the numbers because there's always new ones being started, but over 100 clubs and societies. So over 100 clubs and over 100 societies for different things. So we try to collaborate with them because that's, a lot of students that are engaged and want to volunteer, you'd find them there. And then there's also a volunteer center that has newsletters and a website. So that's works for us as well, because once you sign up, you get sent opportunities. So, I feel like that works very well as well. So the collaboration aspect, I completely understand that.
Any comments on other topics, maybe? Or are we done?
Just in general, can I ask, would you find good cooperation from your universities, or do you find your universities supportive? Do you have an issue in securing funding to drive forward your plans and projects in general, or what's the consensus?
I mean, Michelle, you know me quite well, because actually I became interested really, or like I was always interested, but really engaged with sustainability through a campaign that the University of Galway ran for like a summer sustainability internship, essentially, to run campaigns. I would say that there's always more to be done, but I think that depending on the campaign, I think if it's very like the university has an interest in engaging with students as well. So I feel like regarding sustainability, there's a lot of overlap in kind of the goals and targets. So I found work with the university helpful because of people. There's certain people who are very interested and who want to help. And Michelle, like yourself, I think you have like 3 emails from me, like we've been emailing the whole time, so that kind of stuff is just very helpful. Yeah.
And just from the other universities, what's your experience, or do you get funding for what you do, or?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay. I think the university is pretty on board with what we do, so it's not that difficult to get funding, but of course there's only like up to a certain amount that the university can give, especially since there's millions of clubs within one single university, and then within the business department there's also a whole bunch of clubs, so there's like a cap on how much they can give to each association. So of course we also tend to focus on external funding and not just internal funding, and then we like are able to find a good balance with external and internal funding.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, for our organization we have like different levels of collaboration with the university. So like on the small level with the different professors, and that's then mainly for recognition as an internship, for example, or as part of a course.
Wait.
I think the cooperation is very good at a higher level. For example,
we didn't hear you.
Oh,
for a short time. Just maybe repeat the last sentence you were going to say.
Yeah, so like on the higher level with the university, sometimes it's quite difficult to get recognized as a student organization. There are high requirements for that. So my internet is again quite unstable. I don't know if you heard everything.
Yeah, I think now we heard everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there the requirements are stricter, and that makes it also more difficult for us. But I think in general, for example, if we need any auditoria from the university, then there is as well quite good cooperation.
Great. It's good to hear.
I just had a question on when it comes to skills development and how much are you supported by your career center? So could you, sometimes students are involved in so amazing extracurricular activities that sometimes gets passed by when you think about all the things that you've learned through your educational experience at a university. But how much of that do you kind of bring into your projects, and how much how well do the students identify the different types of skills that they actually do practice by being part of a project like yours?
I can say something about BBT. I don't know about the other projects, but BBT specifically, as a business student, what we learn tends to be very theoretical for almost all 4 years in university, you know, like it's very much formulas and things like that, depending on the program, but it's very theoretical. So being able to join a club like the John Molson Sustainable Enterprise Committee and doing things like BBT allows business students to see the other side of it, because it's not just, you know, theoretical. There's a lot of like practical skills like networking, communications. These are things that are very hard to pick up on in your regular everyday classes, and you get to like learn these a lot more in depth and grow as a person when you're able to do projects like this, meet industry professionals, learn from them. We also have a mentorship program, which is really, really cool, because you get to have a mentor just for you, and they help you, you know, make big decisions on what major you want to be in, what you want to pursue, what area of sustainability you want to be in, because it's all so diverse. So I think it helps you definitely build a sense of like self-confidence in what you want to do, good communication skills, and networking.
We have a career center as well. I'm an environmental science student, so if it wasn't for COVID, usually I'd be out in the field, you know, surveying and all that. But that has come a bit short, so I feel like volunteering is a nice way to get that experience anyway, even if it's virtually, you know, like today, like it still allows for so much more. So regarding careers specifically, I'm actually working with them to organize like a green employers event that students can sign up to, just to kind of see how do students feel about sustainability, how important is our sustainable values to them and values in general when choosing an employer. And another thing that the university does is you can get the Life Cert, which is a volunteering certificate. And it's really great because it says how many volunteering hours you did, who you did them with, and it's a good addition to your CV, and it's rewarding as well. You know, a lot of the volunteers would do the work either way, but it is nice to get that award, you know, at the end of the year. And I think usually there's a ceremony for it as well. Now, Lorraine will probably, she's still, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've mainly been through COVID, and even through COVID, I've had the opportunity to engage. And I feel like most people in the university are very open to talking about it and collaborating.
Yeah, for us, it's a bit the same as the BBT project, actually. If you look at, okay, our project mainly consists of engineering students, and it's also really theoretical, the 4 or 5 years in university. So to be able to perform a project where you really have to install something yourself, and you get the full responsibility for for installing the solar panels, for example, or the water pump, or something else. It's a really practical problem, and really nice to be able to do something with your own hands that you can't do in university, or can't do to that extent, I would say.
I think there was also a question in chat. Would you like us to kind of say that as well, or are we?
Yes, so we have a question from Sepide Hrazavi. If you get the opportunity to develop your educational programs, what do you add? What do you think is missing?
I will maybe start. It's for me, it's like it's basically the same as I just said, because having done myself such a project, I really think it's a great added value for my educational career, and it's almost a shame actually that so many engineering students don't get to experience something like that, where they really have to do something practical and make something with their own hands. I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but for me in Belgium, in our university, it's sometimes a bit too theoretical. So yeah, I would add more practical stuff and make stuff and yeah, stuff like that, things like that.
I would say something relatively similar, but if there's anything I would change or add, probably like insert more communication focused courses than business heavy, because I feel like communication is really key to spread a message, especially something like sustainability. So, you know, things like being able to put your message forward in a professional yet approachable manner, being able to send out emails if you want external funding, internal funding, just really being able to talk to people properly on the baseline. I feel like that's something we really miss out as business students if we don't go out and search for that knowledge by ourselves, because it's not necessarily given, and it's kind of like taken for granted that you should know how to communicate with people as a business student, but it takes some like self-research and knowledge. So I would definitely focus more on that, honestly.
I'd add on what you guys said about, you know, just practice, actually being able to communicate with people. What I think would be great for science, I'm a science student, so that's kind of my main area of knowledge. And what I'd love to see is more internships and placements in companies, and kind of early on. So like in like we have 4 years in our bachelor's, and seeing that in the second or third year, maybe even if it's for a month or for a few weeks, being able to work in the field, learning how it works, it gives you practice, and it also gives you an understanding if what you're looking for in a job. And I think it also gives a bit of just general direction, and once you've done that, then you can also see what, if this is what I have experienced in my job and I really like it, is there a charity organization or project that I can get more involved with to, you know, promote that skill further. So yeah, I think that'd be really cool, and I'm pretty sure that would be cool for the engineering and business people as well, to kind of just shadow someone and learn about what it's actually like.